What's good, folks? We back. Today, we deep diving, man. We deep diving into a theory about Life is Strange universe. And this kind of centers around Life is Strange double exposure. So, what if Max powers, it created a hidden alternative reality? Now listen, this seemed like the same as my last video for right now, but I'm telling you, this one completely different. We talking if Life is Strange really taken in a different way where they don't want to explore the past as much, but introduce a good villain who can really have some interesting motives. But first, let's talk about Max's basic powers. Listen, we seen how she could rewind time, fix mistakes, prevent deaths, cause tornadoes, and change the course of events. But what if when she rewound time, she didn't really erase the timeline? She just created a whole new one. Like, I'm thinking about it. Imagine all the choices you made down the line. Like Chloe living, Chloe dying, Kate surviving. Maybe her powers really just created an alternative world where each version of the world there's a different outcome. Now listen, I don't know if somebody already came up with this. I was just looking at the ceiling thinking about it. Listen, I be thinking, man. I be thinking. But let's get into the juicy bit of it. Listen, what if their reality hidden what Max can't even see? Like, picture Arcadia Bay with both Chloe and Rachel alive, but we just can't see that timeline. Or maybe one where none of the events that happened in Arcadia Bay ever happened. Like, when I say that, I mean like William never died, Jefferson never caught, and just all those big events never happening. And listen, maybe there could be some remains left behind, like some a little funky that maybe someone could see. But we not gonna get into that so far. So, Max rewind powers, they didn't affect just her and Chloe. It affected Kate, Victoria. It didn't affect that little bird that want to run to the window. But let me think about it real quick. Listen, in one world, Kate could be thriving and never really got pushed to that dark place that she was in to when she was on top of that building. And in another world, Victoria might have just been a nice person that really didn't pick on Kate or anything like that, and just like a good friend to Max. Kind of like in that alternative reality that we already saw where Chloe was in the wheelchair, Victoria seemed like a nice person there. Listen, these characters, I feel like their lives might have been affected without them even knowing, because of Max rewind powers. This is what I'm trying to think of. What could this mean for Life is Strange double exposure? But what I'm thinking is, since we know there are alternative realities with Max's new power, it just make more sense that she's not rewinding time, she's just going to a different reality, just setting the stage for it. And with this Max and Sophie thing, she ain't learned by now that every time you use your power, something real bad gonna happen. Is Sophie worth another place, another city, the entire world? Like, hey, Max just keep getting into these situations. But I'm thinking about it, and the story could really go at it a different way. Listen, the more I think about it, the more I'm liking this idea. Listen, my brain working now, the gears turning. So I'm about to get into it. Let's introduce a new character here. And this character, they also have an ability. And it's not the camera snapping thing I was talking about last time. No, this time they could see alternate realities. And they could see the little rifts in reality that Max caused. And Max unknowingly left behind. Listen, maybe they could experience through flashbacks, or they could see timelines and memories. But they see the different versions of life, and they see how much damage that Max has done over the course of the game. And let's say that people did choose to save Chloe and Arcadia Bay got taken out. Now let's think about it. She trying to save Sophie, and there's another just big incident that caused for this accident to happen. And we know times is prevalent in Life is Strange. Now this is where it get even juicier. What if someone had the ability to time travel? Listen, I'm not talking about Max rewind time thing. I'm talking about somebody going into the past because whatever Max did, it caused the entire world to just be at a disarray. Like, they seen all the problems that Max has caused, and they trying to figure it out. They kind of playing detective. Listen, while Max playing detective on Sophie, trying to find out her killer, somebody playing detective on her, trying to find out why the world is so bad like this, why everything like this. And that could cause for a good story at the end. Listen, I'm thinking about it more and more. I will say it is interesting, but at the same time, I could see people not liking it. Because in this theory, I'm thinking the villain is really just trying to save the entire world, or just save somebody close to them and their family, and Max is the cause of this all destruction, and somebody trying to prevent it from happening. And in that case, Max would be the real villain. Hey, I don't know who it could be that goes back in time. Maybe I've been watching too much Stargate, or maybe I just been watching too many movies. But I feel like with that, it could be very interesting. I will say it would be nice if the villain not just some random person. Like, I could see somebody wanting to say that the villain is really Max herself trying to go back in time and fix her mistakes. But boo, forget that. We need somebody closer. We need somebody who we haven't seen yet. Now what I mean by that is, let's go deeper into the future, where someone going back in time, and let's say that it was somebody's daughter or some, like maybe a relative or something. I'm trying to think of something that could really be heart aching, cause we already know Life is Strange, they always trying to break your heart without you knowing it. Listen, the saddest thing that I could see is that somewhere down the line Max did have a daughter or something, and due to this conflict and everything, Max ends up hurting her own daughter in the future, or son. Listen, I keep saying daughter, but hey, it could be a son. But I could see that little, like, you know what I mean, man, you know what I mean. Max not knowing she the mother, and just seeing that motherly bond form out of nowhere though. Listen, the only thing that could be bad about this type of ending is that we really wouldn't know that they were their son until the last minute. So I don't know if we would really have that big of a connection. But at the same time, maybe with seeing Max being so broken down, that this connection could work out. But this one is risky, I'm not even gonna lie. But it is interesting at the same time. I could see the tears flowing down. But honestly, from a writing standpoint, you don't actually have to see the character for 5 episodes. You really just need a good backstory, kind of like how that episode in Before the Storm was, that very last one. Just a good, impactful backstory, and it will work out perfectly fine. As for Max being the villain, listen, I don't dislike that, but at the same time, I feel like that would be way less impactful if it's just Max herself. And you know, Life is Strange love the emotional tolls they put on all their fans. But with that being said, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you wanna, and let me know what you think in the comments though. Let me know, because I'm curious to see what other people think about this. Me, hey, it's a good alternative to my first little video. And matter of fact, if you want to see who I predicted to be the killer, click that video that's gonna pop up on the screen in a couple of seconds. And if it ain't there, I forgot. My bad. But we out.